Ukraine is so preoccupied with Western alliances, with Zelensky's frequent trips to Europe and the US, that they have completely overlooked Putin's plans. Zelensky's strategy to adopt Western military tactics and armaments has made Ukraine overly dependent on foreign aid. Meanwhile, they seem to have forgotten that they can learn from their adversaries too. Russia has been unequivocal about using its own arsenal for the war. Zelensky failed to notice how the West has ensnared Ukraine in a cycle of debt and influence. Putin's focus on a self-reliant defense sector should be a glaring signal to Ukraine to stop banking on the US and Europe and instead lead the war with their own resources. The West should also take note that Putin's insistence on using exclusively Russian weaponry underscores his confidence in the capability and quantity of Russian weaponry. This should serve as a reminder that while Ukraine looks outward, Russia's internal fortitude remains robust.
Welcome to TFI Global, the antidote to mass delusion.
Ukraine seems to be preoccupied with looking to the West for military support, while Russia, under the guidance of President Vladimir Putin, has found the magical formula for national security: a self-sustaining defense sector. Putin has made it clear that Russia can only rely on itself when it comes to defense. No handouts from abroad here, folks. To him, a steady supply of military resources and a robust defense industry are the cornerstones of a secure nation. In his latest interview with journalist Pavel Zarubin, Putin hammered home the importance of self-reliance and maintaining a robust defense industry. It seems Ukraine, in contrast, hasn't quite grasped the concept, leaning heavily on foreign aid to fuel its conflict with Russia. Putin's emphasis on efficient management within the defense ministry ensures that every ruble spent contributes directly to bolstering Russia's military might. Unlike Ukraine, which appears to be caught in a cycle of dependency and corruption, Putin's statement highlights the importance of administrative management for an effective military-industrial complex. Russia's prowess in self-reliance isn't just talk. Reports indicate they have significantly boosted production across various defense sectors to sustain operations in Ukraine. Sergei Shemezhov, head of Rostec, announced a 10-fold increase in self-propelled artillery and a 14-fold increase in towed gun production. Meanwhile, the US struggles to keep up with demand, particularly failing in artillery shell production for Ukraine. It's almost comical how Russia's ammunition output for tanks and infantry vehicles has skyrocketed. 900% for tanks, 600% for artillery shells, and a staggering 800% for MLRS munitions, while US production is failing at the same time. Western powers who underestimated Russia's production capabilities are now trying to catch up. CNN reported Russia produces 3 times the artillery shells of the US and EU output combined. Despite ambitious goals, the US plans to produce 100,000 artillery rounds monthly by 2025, falling well short of Russia's current output. Putin has cautioned that Western aid to Ukraine will only prolong the conflict without altering its outcome. Yet Ukraine continues to pin its hopes on foreign assistance, racking up billions in arms purchases from the US, Germany, and the UK. Perhaps it's time for Ukraine to realize that Western support isn't exactly the golden ticket they hoped for. As Russia makes steady gains in Donbass and launches new operations in Kharkiv, one can't help but wonder if Ukraine's reliance on external stakeholders is backfiring. The region grows more unstable and hostile as foreign interference increases. Maybe Ukraine should take a leaf out of Russia's book. Self-reliance seems to be working wonders after all. So to conclude it all up, while Ukraine scrambles for Western aid, Russia's self-sufficient defense strategy sets a formidable standard. Putin's commitment to internal strength and efficient defense spending contrasts sharply with Ukraine's dependency. It's high time Ukraine reevaluates its reliance on foreign aid and considers a more self sustaining approach. After all, relying on oneself isn't just a strategy, it's a surefire path to security.